Hello everyone and welcome to today's event. My name is Rachel Klein and I will be your presenter here for the next 20 minutes. Today we're going to be talking about how to generate a basic report in membership. So this is one of the report layouts that you're going to use most of the time unless you're running a directory. It's a really easy report to generate. It's really easy to manipulate it. But then you can also create lots of different options too for different layouts as well. So, and then you can save them so you can reuse them regardless of what criteria or regardless of who you need to see on the report. Let's open up membership here. And you can get into reports one of two ways, okay? So you can click the reports button right here in the middle, or you can go up to reports and export up at the top, reports and labels, and then reports directory export. Honestly, it doesn't matter which way you go to get to the reporting screen. They're going to take you to the same place. So when you run reports, there's two steps. First step is always who you want to see on your report. So that's going to say that right here at the top, select who should appear on the report. So regardless of who you pick or regardless of what criteria you use on step one, you can use whatever layout you want on step two. Okay, so step one is going to be who you want to see, and step two is going to be for those people that meet your criteria, what layout or what report do you need to see about those people? Okay. So let's get started. On the document on page 2, it does an example criteria for age. So I kind of want to follow along with that criteria as well as a guide for us to use. So let's say you need a report of everyone ages 25 to 45 that gave last year. So that's the criteria we're going to follow for today. Now keep in mind, if you don't have any access to the membership or to the donations module, you don't have to include donations criteria within your query that you're building here on step one. It's just an option. So if you strictly just use membership, then you won't need to go down into this lower section here. So step one is where you're going to put in that membership criteria. Down here at the bottom under step 3, if you need to include donations criteria, you would do that down here in step 3. So let's go up to number 1, and it says edit people selection criteria. I'm going to go ahead and hit that button first, and that's going to pop up my screen where I can set my specific membership criteria that I need. So like I mentioned in our example here on page 2, we want everyone that has an age within a particular range. Right here at the top where it says select a membership field, if you hit the down arrow here, these are all of the different fields you have in your database that you are able to query on. The possibilities are really, really endless. So the more information you track in membership, the more options you're going to have here to use to build a query or to pull the specific group of people that you need. Okay, but we're going to go to age real quick. And then once I select age, it's going to give me some different options for how I want to pull my age. Do I want people that are older than a certain age? Do I want people who are an exact particular age? Do I want people who are between or have a range? Or you can do less than, or you have the option to do blank. So you kind of have to decide who am I looking for, and then how do I apply that criteria here into the database so I can pull my people out. So for this example, I'm going to go between because I want people between 25 and 45. And then I'm going to hit my add to selection button, and that's going to input my criteria. Now, you can also build on this criteria. Say you want people who are between this age and have a status code of active. So they have to have a status code of active and they have to fall within my age range. If that's the case, I would come here and use and then I could come back up here and I can, whoops, I can't spell. I can go to my status code field and then I can check the status codes that I want included. And if I add that to the selection, because I'm using and, that means for someone to be on my report, they have to meet this line and they have to meet this line. Okay, now something to consider. If I pop or in here and get rid of and, if I have ages between 25 and 45 or their status code is equal to 1, that means that they have to meet one of these. Okay, so and means they have to meet both sides, or means they have to be one or the other. Okay, so just some extra information when you're building your queries here. Let's get rid of this and let's go back to our default. So age is between 25 and 45. Over here to the right, if you use giver numbers and you want that to be part of your criteria, you can use this filter to meet what you want. Categories, really simple. These are your family categories that you assign to different families in your database. By default, they're both going to be checked. But if you find that you just want members, you can uncheck or do one or the other. Or you might have more categories if you've gone in and customized that a little bit. But I'm going to leave everybody checked. And then down here at the bottom, I can specify if I want to include inactive people. I can specify if I want membership groups, or if I use donations, I can pull those donations individual group givers. I don't want to do any of that for this example. I just want people who are members or visitors and have an age between these two ranges. So I'm going to say OK. So that's my membership criteria. Now I'm going to jump down here to the number 3, and this is where I can put in that donations criteria if I want to. So I'm going to hit Add Giving Pledging Selection. And for now, what I want to do is I want people who gave. So I'm going to leave this only those who gave option selected. Now again, you do have some other pieces of criteria you can use to build to get the specific group of people that you want. But I'm going to leave only those who gave and all regardless of pledging. So I want everybody, okay? Over to the right, in my date range box, I am going to hit the little minus year button over here to the right. And I want to make sure that it jumps back to 2022. All right, and again, you can use the minus year button to jump back in year segments, or you can put in whatever range you want. It's totally up to you, okay? Now, let's go ahead and hit the add button. That way my criteria is added in. And then back on this screen, I can see in my membership criteria and my donations criteria. And then I'm going to go up here to the sort tab. And where it says sort field 1, this is where I set the order that I want these people to print out in. Right now it's on giver number. I'm not worried about the giver number sort. I actually want an alphabetical sort. So in sort field 1, I'm going to come down here and choose last first alphabetical for my sort order. Okay, sort field 2, I'm going to clear that out. Because we're doing an alphabetical sort, the only way sort field 2 would come into play is if I had like a bunch of people with the exact same first and last name, which is pretty unrealistic. So I'm going to leave that on none. Okay. Now, I'm going to hit next. So that's just how we build our criteria for our basic report of who we want. Step 2 is where we are going to start really jumping into that basic layout. On the step 2 screen up here in the top left, I have basic selected. And then down here at the bottom, it's going to list the people that meet my criteria that I put in on step 1. So right now I have 5 people who meet my criteria. Back up here in the top left, after selecting basic, if I hit the down arrow, these are going to show me all of the different basic reports that have been set up over the years. Now this is our training machine, so there's a bunch in here. Probably wouldn't have this many, but if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, the last option is the template basic columnar report. Every single person has this template in their basic report layout drop box. I'm going to go ahead and select that, and I'm going to hit print just so you can see what that basic columnar report's going to look like. It's going to give you 3 columns. First column is going to be name, second column is going to be address, and then the third column is going to be their phone number. So regardless of what criteria you put back in on step 1, This is the information you are going to see for those people when you choose the basic columnar report. Okay, so you can, anytime you run a report, regardless of the criteria, and all you really need is to see the names of the people, just use that basic columnar report. Easy peasy. Down at the bottom, it's going to give you a good little summary of the criteria. So we're including members and visitors. Here's our age range, and then here's the giving criteria that we wanted as well. I love this criteria down at the bottom. This helps me all the time when I am helping people with reports. They'll be like, I have this really great report from a couple years ago, and I need to figure out how to run it again. Well, we pull up the report. Here's the criteria, and then we go back in and we rerun it based on the information at the bottom. So this is really important if you have a report you know you're going to run again. All right, let's talk about customizing this basic report. So we get our basic fields, our name, our address, and our phone number. Let's say we need to customize this. Maybe we want to see what the ages of these people and what range they meet. Maybe we also want to see for these people how much they gave last year. So maybe there's some more information we want to see. Really, really simple to build another report. So next to the drop box, hit the New button. And then you can decide a couple formatting options. Depending on if you have a bunch of columns, you might want to go with landscape. But let's go with a report name of name, age, total given. So for me, I like to title the report based on the columns that I'm going to have displaying on the report itself. So we don't necessarily want to name this report age range 25 to 45, because realistically, I can use this report based on my columns for regardless of what criteria that I choose on step one. Let me show you what I mean. So my report name is name, age, total given. These are going to be the 3 columns that I'm going to select on this report layout. So my column selector is going to open, and here are my default fields here, name, address, and primary phone. Now let's say I don't want to see address on the report, and I don't need to see their phone number as well. So what we would do is we would highlight the field and move it off to the left. Okay, same thing, highlight the field you want to get rid of and move it to the left. So whatever fields you have over here on the right in this visible columns section, those are the specific columns that you are going to see on your report. Okay, over here on the left under available columns, these are all the different columns you have available to you to add to your report. Okay, so you have your address information all up here at the top. You have like your contact fields, cell phones, emails, that's all in this section. You have your name fields here. Maybe you need to see what people's nicknames are. You could move those to the right. Parents info, this is really, really helpful if you're running kids reports, but you want to see what the parent's name is or the parent's contact information. That's in this parents info section. And then other, this is where all the good information is here for the individual themselves. So I'm going to highlight age, and I'm going to move that to the right because I want to see how old they are. And then I'm also going to come over here to the left, and I'm going to go down to my donation section. And I'm going to move over my total given field because I want to see how much they gave in 2022. All right. Now you have a lot of other fields in here as well you could move over. You could move gender over. You could move over giver number. You could see their birthday. Maybe you want to see what their birthday is along with their age. You have all of these fields available to you to just pop over to the right, and then they're going to show up on the report itself. Okay. If you find you want to adjust the width of the column, a lot of times I think 34 is just way too wide for someone's name. I usually hit the little down arrow and bring that down to about a 25. Age is 5 spaces. Donations total given is 15. You could shrink that down a little bit depending on how people give. But adjusting the width allows you to add more columns and get more information across the top of your page. Okay, so now that I have my visible columns, name, age, donations, that tells us that name is column 1, age is column 2, and donations is column 3. Okay, I'm going to say okay to that, and I'm going to hit print so we can get an idea of what this is going to look like. All right, again, this is why we call it basic. Very simple, very basic information that we're pulling. So name, column 1, age, column 2, total given, column 3. All right, and then the nice thing about this, and here's our information reiterated down at the bottom, but the nice thing about this is if you close out and you come back in here to run another report, it's always going to be down here saved in the list for you. So you can always pull it up again. All right, now let's say for this same group of people, I actually really need to see their address, their phone number, and their email. So I have that report that I created before. I'm just going to select that. I can hit my select fields button here to get back in and make sure I have the information I want. Whoops, looks like I'm missing email. So I'm going to come over here into my phone email fields. I'm going to move email over to the right. I'm going to shorten up the width of these fields. And keep in mind, this is character spaces. So I'm going to shrink this down. I'm not going to mess with phone because that's already preset to a phone number size. I'm going to say okay. And I'm going to print this. And now, easy peasy, I have my name, my address, my phone number, and my email for the same group of people that I picked back on step 1. Okay, so that's one of the really nice things about these basic reports is you can get information really easy by pulling from an old report that you maybe created a couple months ago, or making a new one, or just selecting new fields to get exactly what you need. Okay, let me make sure I covered everything. Looks like I covered everything in the document. I do want to point out one more thing. Actually, Ellen, I just saw your question actually pop in when I glanced over there. If you find you have a report in here that you don't want to use anymore, you just don't need it, you can just select the report, hit the little minus sign, and then confirm that you want to delete it. And then that report, like this one is just number 1. If you want to delete that, it'll clear out those old reports because this list is definitely cluttered up over the years. But if you find you don't use the report anymore, just select it, hit the little minus sign, and you can get rid of it. Okay. Now, I know we're right at 20 minutes. I want to show you one more thing. A lot of people I talk to, they need a name-only report. So all they want to see is just a list of names. They don't need to see anything else for the people. If that's the case, you would create a basic report that just has name. So my only visible column right now is going to be name. I'm going to shorten my width here a little bit. And I'm going to print it, and I want to show you that it does give me that. It just gives me name, okay? But what we want to do, or what I hear people want to do, is they want to have a second column and possibly a third column. So let's go back and let's get rid of my criteria so I have more people. I now should get a much bigger list. Okay, so now if I print this name only report, you're going to see it's going to give me just names, but it's just giving me one column and it's just wasting a bunch of paper. So let's say we want to actually take this up to 3 columns. Let me show you where you can do that. I'm going to close the preview. Instead of going into select fields, I'm actually going to hit this edit button. You don't need to go in here too terribly often. But if we come into edit, there is this column button here at the top toolbar, the very last option. If I hit that, I can decide how many columns I actually want to see on the report itself, and then I can choose if I want it to go down then across or across then down. I like down then across, so I'm going to leave it there, but I'm going to take it up to 3 columns, okay? If you find too you want to add a title to your basic report, you can do that right in here. I'm just going to call this name only report, which obviously that's what the column is, but you could get a lot fancier with your title. But then I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to just simply close, And now when I choose my name only report and I hit print, I'm going to get 3 columns and I'm going to have the title of my report at the top, and it dropped from a 4-page report down to just a 2-page report. Okay. So basic report, like I said, you are probably going to use this 99% of the time unless you're running a directory. It's really easy to manipulate. It's really easy to save multiple layouts, but it's also easy to go in and select different fields. So depending on how often you're running reports, or especially if you have reports you need to get out like once a month, set it up as a basic report and it's always going to be there for you to use. Okay. All right, that is everything I wanted to go over with you all today. Do the preview, but that's why it's really important to have a corresponding name. This was my second webinar and they are so helpful. Thank you. You're welcome, Elaine. Thanks for coming. All right, I think I got through all the cool. One more. I didn't think about a much earlier date than I'm ready. Yeah, Teresa, you're welcome. I'm glad you figured that out. Good job. Good job. Yep. That's great. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Okay, I'm going to end the webinar. You guys are so welcome. Thanks for coming. I hope you learned something new. I hope you learned a new task or tool that'll help make working in church windows a little bit easier for you moving forward. Check back on the Resource Center and you can rewatch any of our previously done webinars. There's a bunch out there. So hopefully you have time to check those out as well. And I hope you all have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.